Okay, it is 6:30 and I'd like to call this meeting of council to order and acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, the home of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories, but acknowledge that there have been harms and mistakes in the past. We dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect of all peoples, including Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a prosperous, harmonious future together. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of November 12th, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin.
Any changes to that agenda? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 22nd, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Peter.
Second.
Michael.
They are attached. You've had a chance to review them. Any questions or comments on them? All in favor? Carried. Moving then to finance, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $12,172,355.25 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
I can help.
Okay.
Peter.
Peter got it. That is a really big number, and as always, the check register is attached, so you've had a chance to review them. Is there any numbers there that surprise you or that you need some clarification on? You have a thought, Andrew.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about one of them, but I can. The TDS one, I guess, is that confidential?
I think the details of it, from a legal point, would be, but
Okay.
certainly you can send a
Okay.
note to the city manager and get some explanation on it.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions out of that?
No.
All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council supports the application of the GROW grant funding for the Ball Diamond Upgrade Project and the Winkler Fire Department Improvement Project. Mover?
Marvin.
Second.
Andrew?
Michael beat you by just a little bit,
Perfect.
Andrew.
Way to go, Mike.
You see, you see the two projects there? Now, this is a new program this year that the province has initiated. There are how many dollars in it, Jody? Do we know offhand?
Ooh,
Is
I think it was
20?
some 40 plus million.
It's a significant dollar figure. Every municipality in Manitoba has an opportunity to put forward some projects towards this with the hope of getting funding towards it. These are both badly needed projects in the city of Winkler. They're not currently fully budgeted on our end. If we were lucky enough to receive some funding towards them, it would be a very positive thing to see. Jody, is there any additional information that we should have in that regard?
Yeah, we certainly would have more projects for which we could apply, but we were limited to 2 projects. So we applied for 2 that we felt would make the biggest impact.
Okay. Any additional questions?
I think both very good projects to apply for.
Worthwhile and
Yeah.
badly needed. both of
Right,
them.
yeah.
Okay, all in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that the minutes for the Finance Committee meeting of November 6th, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin.
Marvin. They are attached for your review there. Do we have any questions? Obviously, as we look at a couple of different things there's a few things left before the end of the year, but it looks like, as usual, staff have been extremely prudent in the management of our budget, and we will likely end up in a good surplus position. mostly because we had some unforeseens that a lot of the expenditures didn't go out quite as quickly on our major projects. So we have significantly more interest revenue than we anticipated. And then secondly, of course, last year we determined that we needed to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room by budgeting a small surplus, just simply because of the fact that we're legally required to balance our budget every year and we can't run a deficit. And our staff have shown us that that was a good investment in them, in the fact that we did not have any significant emergencies come up that they needed to dip into that. So that will, in fact, finish as a surplus number. So that's really good to see.
Yep.
Not seeing anything further. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Winkler Fire Report for October 2024 be received for information. Mover.
Michael?
Second.
Peter?
Peter. Attached. You've had a chance to review it. Any comments on it?
Our numbers are almost spot on to where they were last year. Looking through the reports, I think it might be the first time I've seen a passerby calling about a fire that happened to be a training fire. So,
It is. It's good
That's-
that community is paying attention and
It
calling
is.
it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an unusual one to see there, but yeah, shows that people pay attention, and that's good.
Absolutely. And it is good to see October numbers being down a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yes.
which allows us to be neck and neck with last year's call numbers. Again, a very well-run department doing really good work for our community. It's nice to see. All in favor? Carried. Moving forward then, be it resolved that the swamp minutes for the October 29th, 2024 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
Any comments on what you see there?
Not a whole lot of new stuff. We got some staff training. We got working on our budget for '25. I guess the one thing to note is the fact that the 3 owner municipalities have requested that Swamp start processing compost, and the board has decided to pursue that. So that'll be something new and give staff more work. But
Good.
we're hoping that'll turn out well.
Thank you for that update. Any questions on what you see? All in favor? Carried. Not seeing any health and welfare updates, we run to planning. Be it resolved that the Winkler Stanley Economic Development meeting minutes for the September 26th and October 10th, 2024 meetings be received for information. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin?
As you note in those meetings, some staffing changeovers and other items have caused some work to happen to try to get our immigration program back online for the year. But it's been a challenging year at the corporation with a number of staffing changes. And hopefully some of those plans can come to fruition fairly quickly. Not seeing any questions. All in favor? And those are carried. The airport study, I'm going to read the whereases in this one as well because I think they're important for context. Whereas the City of Morton, the Arm of Stanley, and the City of Winkler have approved a regional airport feasibility study, and whereas a steering committee, and I would like that to say feasibility study, I'd like that to be updated
Yep.
to show that. And whereas the steering committee for this study will be formed with a maximum of 7 members consisting of 1 council representative from each municipality, meaning 3, a representative from each flying club in Morton and in Winkler, meaning 2, and a representative from each economic development office and or board, also 2. Therefore, be it resolved that the council for the City of Winkler appoint Councillor Don Friesen as councillor representative, Keith Petkow, owner of Artie's Flying Club, as Flying Club representative, and Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation board member Dennis Harder as the economic development representative
to the Regional Airport Feasibility Study Steering Committee. Mover,
Marvin.
second.
Andrew?
And at this point in time, this is something that as we look to plan for the future for our region, it is imperative that we explore all the options that are there. And we've had an opportunity to have Barry Rempel out, who used to be the CEO of the Winnipeg Airport. He made a good presentation and in fact now has a career working with communities and regions to look at the feasibility of regional airports. We don't know what we don't know, so we're going to retain a professional to do it. Winkler, Stanley, and Morton are going to equally split the cost of that study. We have previously already had a motion for those costs. This now is a motion to get our committee in place to do so. Both Stanley and Winkler have already, Stanley and Morton, sorry, have already had their appointments in place, if I understand correctly.
That's right.
Our 3 reps here have all been contacted, I assume, and agreed?
All 3 reps have agreed to serve in this position.
Sounds good.
Actually, that would be, we could appoint lots of people if we didn't have to. But in this instance, yes, we have talked to all 3. I've personally talked to all 3 of them.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Some good information will come out of this study, I believe.
In our terms of reference for that, do we have a completion date for the study? As you know, our council term is half done, more than half done, so it'd be nice to have some good recommendations well ahead of that.
We anticipate getting this study sometime in 2025.
Good.
It is at a fairly high level feasibility initially before we move any further.
Yeah.
So this immediate piece will mostly determine what are the cost implications and what does that look like, what would be needed and what are the cost implications.
Good.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that subdivision application 4463-24-8412 be approved. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
Comments and thoughts?
Looks pretty straightforward. Build a shop.
Again, as noted in your notes there to council, we received this application and approved it on August 13, subject to engineered grading and servicing plans that comply with the low-vis Clover Creek standards, and both of those conditions have now been satisfied.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. That takes us to community services. Be it resolved that the Central Manitoba Tourism Financial Report for October 2024 be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Second.
I can help.
Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you.
Again, attached, any comments on what you see? And it's the financials. There's not much past that, obviously.
Yeah, not much outside of that. They've, considering their budget there, they've gained some traction this year and had some stability there with, again, with June into steering things, and that's been good. Hopefully they can carry that over into next year and onward.
I noted with interest the accounts receivable, and I'm assuming that's a matter of entering of information, because it shows that we have no current or 1 to 30 or 31 to 60 or 61 to 90 receivables, but significantly 90 plus receivables.
Yeah, that was, I have to double check. I'm pretty sure that was simply just their tourism book. They had
Correct.
the orders for the promotions in there and the advertising in there, and they just didn't get the bills out in a timely manner.
Okay. And then we dated those bills when they went out for when
Right.
they would have gone out.
Yeah.
Okay. So strictly an entry.
Yeah. Yeah, because as you pointed out, it's very consistent that all of the receivables there are,
Correct.
yeah, 90 plus, which is unusual.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that the South Central Regional Library Winkler Branch letters of request be received for information. Mover?
Marvin?
Second.
Andrew?
What have we got here, Marvin? Anything that needs explanation?
Yeah, I guess like the first letter is referenced over the years, maybe because some of the partner municipalities felt that maybe since all the municipalities had good reserve funds, that the library maybe didn't need as big a reserve fund, and it's coming back a little bit to haunt them a little bit. So there's a request for us to, each municipality to put some of their funding early on so that we can meet payroll, because we do not have enough in our reserve to do that. So that's the first part. And then the second one, it's our 60th anniversary. And again, same due to the fact that we do not have a large amount. They're asking if each municipality would give us $3,000 before the end of the year, if possible, that they can use for promoting and advertising and so on. And that would be something that each municipality could decide that they would be in the way of a loan, or that they would make it a donation, whatever each municipality feels like. So.
And I note at the end there that the determination of whether it's a gift or a loan is up to the municipality?
Yeah.
Is that how I understand?
Right.
Okay.
Each municipality, yeah.
Okay. Would, and I would hope maybe that as a group, all of the members would behave in the same way.
That is the hope, I think, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there would be some expectations that we as municipalities talk to each other about that to determine whether that's a gift or a
Yeah.
loan. Okay? Comments on the letters?
I mean, the funding, the first funding page there, that will also be discussed with other municipalities, I'm assuming, because I know in the past, especially Altona has expressed concern about how this funding arrangement is set up, right? So,
Well, I think some municipality, like each municipality in the past had different schedules of when they did their submission, and but that creates a problem for the library because of the fact that we don't have a substantial budget or reserve fund where we can dip into till we get the first funding. So
when do you get your province Manitoba grant?
that comes only later. Yeah, I should have said that earlier, but halfway through the year.
So the challenge is that the province sends their money when they feel that they
Yes.
need to. And in the meantime, without a reserve, it becomes difficult to operate, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
This, again, I believe, would be best served with a joint response from each one. We do have a Pembina Valley Reeves and Mayors meeting this Friday afternoon, and I've asked each one of these municipalities to give us a few minutes afterwards so that the five of us can have a bit of a conversation.
Oh, good.
We'll have to reach out to the arm of Pembina, who is not part of PV-RAM anymore, to have that conversation with them as well.
I would suggest from our administration, corporate services department, we would prefer to keep the kind of schedule we have for payments. We pay every two months, so we make 6 payments. If everyone did that, I think the cash flow for the library would be in a good shape. And I think some municipalities do it later in the year because they go off of when they collect taxes.
Right.
And I'm not suggesting that, but I'm also suggesting we're not, as administration, necessarily in favor of sending a full 50% in the first month of the year.
Okay, that's an important note. I appreciate that as well.
And I think, yeah, the request would be, as you see, that the first payment by middle of January would be appreciated, and so, and I agree with you too, that I think it's the need to start off the year
Yep.
with some substantial
Yep.
amount, so. And that would be something, yeah, if PV RAM, if that's what you would decide, I think that, I could take that back to.
And this would be, we'd have to step aside, of course, there's more members than this
Yeah.
at PV-RAM. But seeing as how we're already in the same room, I've asked these folks if we can have a short conversation
Perfect.
outside of that meeting.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
Any other comments on what you see? All in favor? Thank you. And Marvin, I would like to thank you as well for stepping into this role that you've done for so many years. We've needed someone to help us out for a period of time, and you've graciously offered to do so, and I thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you, appreciate doing it.
Once we have our election done and we have a new counselor around this table, we may have a small shakeup on some of the committees. And depending who that person is and what their interests are, we'll see what our committee load looks like into 2025. Continuing on then, be it resolved that Morton Vet Services meeting minutes and financials for the November 4th, 2024 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Peter. Okay, I'll help you out.
Thank you.
Michael got it, Peter got the second. Any comments on what you see?
Just the, you'll see from the budget there, we can anticipate an increase in the ask from the vet board in the new year.
Must be a building project going on there?
There's extensive, renovations needed to the building, and
And they project their hydro's gonna be a lot more than 2?
yeah. And I know the vets themselves do take care of some of that, just because they work in the building, but ultimately the onus is on the vet board that owns the property to maintain it. And so we do the best we can with the funds that we have there from the province and the stakeholders.
And we continue to see these types of challenges with all of the organizations that we're either partners in or funding partners in, that these significant increases in percentages, and I get it, the actual dollars and cents for this one or the previous one aren't very significant, but as a percentage that we then also have to find a way to recoup, it's tough.
Yeah.
And again, in this instance, to a large degree, it's the province of Manitoba not increasing their funding at any rate whatsoever that forces us into these really difficult positions. These organizations are as lean as they possibly can be for as long as they possibly can be until they have a situation as these minutes note, the future of the building is in jeopardy. So they have to do something, and the only place that they can go are their local funding partners, because it doesn't matter what the request is. Elsewhere, their provincial funding partner is not at the table to help make them whole. And I find that disappointing, and I find that frustrating. But I'm speaking to the choir here, so
that's right,
we'll go from there. Any other comments? All in favor? And that is carried. We move then through the rest of it. We have no delegations today. We have no additions. We do have a piece of other business. We have put our strategic plan here. And again, in this situation, I'd like to read the whereases as well as we move forward. Whereas City Council has worked together with senior management and 13 Ways Consulting, and whereas have consulted with members of the community and our neighboring municipalities, therefore be it resolved that the City of Winkler adopt the new strategic plan as attached. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin?
Comments on it?
I want to thank, our people, our staff, for sure, for their hard work, working out on a lot of the details. It's easy to come up with, relatively easy to come up with generalities, but to to work out the details and so on, I think it's, we've got something that's really something that we can dig into and be proud to support and work with.
I think those are excellent points, Marvin. Jody, to you and your staff, tremendous thanks. So often when we have strategic plans, if you white out the name of the community, you could plant it anywhere. This plan is very specific to our community. It's short, it's concise, it's going to allow us to put action steps behind it in our budgeting as we move forward to build it out. I'm proud of this plan, I'm excited about it. We have storyboards in our lobby. People are able to come and take a look at that plan there. We have this plan on our website. I would encourage all members of our community to either come down here and take a look at that plan on these storyboards, to look at it on our website, and to reach out with questions, because what we have here is going to be our vision for the rest of this term of council and the start, at least, of the next term of council as we look to build a healthy, sustainable community.
I guess further to that,
Please.
it was very gratifying to see the number of people that were out for the launch. The interest from the community was really awesome.
And I would add to that, we found the same, working with 13 Ways, they found the people in Winkler to be very engaged, and they did interview a number of different people representing various organizations as well as residents, and they found everyone that they came into contact with very engaged and willing to participate. And I think that all contributes to having a well-rounded plan.
Speaks to our community, and it's very nice to see. All in favor? Carried. That takes us to questions from media or public relevant to this meeting of council. We're okay here in chambers. We're okay online. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding an in-camera meeting of a preliminary nature. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Peter?
All in favor? And that is carried. Okay. With that complete, be it resolved that the in-camera meeting be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin?
All in favor? Carried. Not seeing anything further on our agenda, be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover.
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
All in favor? That is carried.